Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Monday, March 16th, 2020, another day where we are about to make history. We already made it. This all started on Friday the 13th. I explained this to you, the day here in America where capitalism and the free market and a free society died. And it's about to get much, much worse here. I really feel that, and I'm going to cover this more, the biggest financial blunder in the history of the markets was made yesterday by President Trump's rate cut, the Federal Reserve's rate cut. The president is still going to call for negative rates. This could have been much worse. And it's going to get pretty ugly here. So let's talk about this again. So stocks right now, this entire market was in lock, limit down, after the announcement that the Federal Reserve just fired an absolute broadside at this market. Forget about a bazooka. Forget about a bazooka. This is nothing. What we have now, the Fed, in an attempt to prop this market up along with the president, two absolute dunces who, we have economists. You have to understand that. The Federal Reserve is full of economists. And the president has admitted he does not understand the stock market. He's a real estate guy. I am a stock market guy. Anyone who's a stock market person or understands the dynamics here could have seen what's happening here from a mile away, from 10 miles away. But if you are an economist and you focus on the economy and not just have an understanding of how the markets work, or if you're a real estate guy, well, if you have two people or two entities here completely ignorant of how a market works, what are you going to get? You're going to get calls for more debt. You're going to get calls for negative rates. You're going to get a broadside fired at this market, and what looks like a black hole just created in the stock market. It's incredible. But there is opportunity here, and we need to talk about that again. So, if you've been with me all these years, you knew all this was coming. You've been well prepared. I hope I have prepared you all for what we are seeing now. But again, there is a glaring opportunity. We're going to talk about that. So, I said yesterday in the video I did after the emergency Federal Reserve cut to zero. All I can say is be thankful the Fed did not cut negative, like the president's been screaming from rooftops. If the Federal Reserve would have made some kind of a freak show rate cut into the negative, this stock market would be literally a bottomless pit. Okay, the issue here is debt. It's debt saturation on an epic scale. And for anyone to believe, a president or economists that run the Federal Reserve, that adding more debt to this issue would make it better, no, look at what they did. And I explained this to you. It's like, trying to save a drowning man by pouring more water on him. Or pouring gasoline on a fire and saying, it's going to fix the problem. Either we have the most ignorant people in the history of the world running the Fed. Again, they're economists. They're not market people. And we have a president here, a real estate guy, not a market guy, trying to run the markets. And who's going to suffer? Who's going to get destroyed? The middle class. The middle class, the upper end of society. And you, if you've been following my blog, you're not getting destroyed at all. I told you all before the meltdown, the Friday before the following Monday, where this all started, I pulled my own cash out of this market. If you followed along with me, you are sitting pretty. Sitting freaking pretty here. Let's talk about where the opportunities are here, people, because they're glaring in our face. Let's go back to 2008. When the market started to melt down in 2008, what got hit? Commodities. It's happening now. Gold is down. Silver is down. Crude oil is at $29. My target between 25 and 27. We might go lower than that, but this has been my target for years. I've been explaining to you that crude oil is massively overvalued and it's artificially inflated. So cryptocurrencies are getting hit, gold is getting hit, silver is getting hit, crude is getting hit. This may be your last hurrah here to try to get it in on precious metals and cryptocurrencies at ridiculous prices here. You want to buy crude? You can do that too, in my opinion. But the better play here, look, how can I say this another way, people? I've been at this for years. Load up on physical silver. It is the most undervalued asset, period, the end. And you can see how many YouTube blogs and big channels and people with big lofty names are using my line. Good, let them use it. I've been saying that silver is the most undervalued asset in the history of the world since time immemorial. Okay, good. It is. That's where you need to be. So there's your opportunity here in this market. But again, what we have here, they have opened up a Pandora's box. We have a debt-saturated market. And I can promise you, they're not done. I explained to you when the Fed announced that they were going to fire a bazooka at the market. They're $1.5 trillion in asset purchases across the entire yield curve. They're buying stocks too. It's not going to help. There's not enough cash here. Then what do? A second installment, $700 billion yesterday, and they cut rates to zero. I told you all it was coming. I told you the second installment, that $1.5 trillion, was the first installment. We just got the second, and look how the market's reacting to it. We're getting more. They don't know another way. The president does not know another way. And the economists that run the Fed don't know another way other than to issue debt. But again, what's the grand plan? We have a president who's feeding the Federal Reserve on an epic scale. Central banks around the world, all of them, could not be happier right now. Their product is debt. One thing, the more debt they issue, the stronger they become. You got it? I mean, please stop the pipe dream. I know there's still some dreamers out here, and I find this beyond belief. I mean, in fact, I would find it hard to believe that people have become so dumbed down that they believe that the president's goal is to destroy the middle class, bankrupt America, and then all of it, which are already bankrupt, but the man has taken a big, fat, ugly bubble and hyperinflated it. So we're crushing the United States of America, wiping out the middle class here so we can institute a gold standard? Go to your psychiatrist and have them up your medication here, okay? You should be able to see where this is going. And if you don't understand central banking, then you'll never get it, because their goal has been, central bank's goal for many decades has been to hyperinflate, to own the world, to make you the slave, you the borrower. They become the lender and buyer of last resort. You're the borrower. This is what they have been planning on since the inception of central banking. So forget the pipe dream. President Trump is not saving you or anyone else. He's playing in tandem with the Federal Reserve. Now, let me say this too. You might be wondering why, after the Federal Reserve firing a broadside at this market, a battleship broadside at this market yesterday, I mean, there's no other way to put it, the stocks are set to tumble. Well, again, we have the FOMC meeting Wednesday. The fact that the Fed had to do it now, and I'll go over that in a minute, right now on a Sunday prior to the market open, which was a scheme to try to get the market to prop up, has completely backfired. The market is like, whoa, things must be so bad that they have to institute an emergency cut to zero and the next installment of quantitative easing, another $700 billion, they couldn't wait till Wednesday? That's why the market is cratering right now. It's very, very simple. And again, listen, the president yesterday, before he witnessed what was happening in the futures markets, was out praising the Federal Reserve. They finally got on board. They've gone, people, aren't you happy? They've gone to zero, more debt. And then when he realized what's happening to the markets, he probably couldn't sleep at night. Let's see what he looks like before a camera today. The man probably torpedoed his re-election campaign. And he look, the man I voted for the man. You all know that because he had it right as a candidate that the Federal Reserve was trying to make Obama look good by propping up the markets. But all he did was take a big fat ugly bubble and hyperinflate it to destroy you. To destroy America and the middle class. That's it. The man has, you can think what you want. Okay. I guarantee you, whatever knowledge you may think you have with regard to this market and central banking is not a fraction of a fraction to what I have, because this is all I do. So you can think what you want to, and I will laugh, but I can tell you that this man, the president, has played every single card wrong, everyone with regard to this market. All he's been successful in doing is inflating a hyper bubble, which is going to destroy America, send us into a depression, just so we can enforce a gold standard. You can't be that stupid. It's impossible for anyone to follow that narrative. And the YouTube channels that are pushing that narrative, we're going to see who's right at the end. And they should be ridiculed publicly. Really, they should. All right, look, I'm out of here. As you can see, I'm getting hyper. But look, we all knew this was coming. I prepared all of you for years for what we're seeing here. We have a debt-saturated market with economists trying to run a market and a real estate guy trying to run a market, and they've done everything wrong unless this is a setup to destroy you. Destroy you. That's where we're going here. On Friday the 13th, I'm going to say it again. When Mnuchin said that they're going to give unlimited liquidity to this market, we got the president talking about industry-wide bailouts, and then we get this, a broadside fired at the market, and we're cratering? All by design, people. You're afraid of socialism? You have no idea of what's coming here down the pike here. And again, it wouldn't change under a Democrat because they're all a bunch of idiots too. Nobody has a clue to what is coming. None of these Democratic hopefuls, the President of the United States, who's playing with the Fed to destroy America and to destroy you. And if you don't get that by now, and if this offends you, please unsub from my blog. I want people who can think here, people who understand that in the box thinking is going to destroy them. So anyway, look, I'm out of here again. Love you all. Please share the video. I'll see you later.